Welcome everyone, my name is Gayle, and in this video I'm going to show you some ways that could be very helpful for either alleviating or even eliminating headache. No one likes to have a headache, right? I mean, it just makes you feel pretty lousy. So a lot of times we have headaches either because we're tense emotionally or mentally, and we start restricting the breath unconsciously. So we have these little shallow breaths and we kind of tend to tense around our neck and shoulders. So in this video, we're going to focus on some breath work, some ways of stretching our neck and our shoulders and getting the spine moving, and hopefully you'll feel really good even if you don't have a headache. This will make you help you to feel relaxed and also help with that forward head posture and try and kind of lengthen out your spine a little bit and get your head in a better position. So all you need for this practice is to make sure that you have something comfortable to sit on so that when you're seated, you're comfortable. So that could be a blanket or a pillow. And make sure you have a blanket or a towel, something you can roll up a little bit, and some kind of strap or resistance band that's at least 3 or 4 feet long. So we're going to begin by taking our blanket or towel, whatever you've got, and we're going to roll it up. Not all the way, we don't need a fat roll, just kind of a medium-sized roll. Or you can, the beauty of this is you can adjust the height of the roll to whatever is comfortable for you. And just place it on your mat. And we're going to put the lower tips of our shoulder blades, like right about here, on the blanket roll. So we don't want the blanket up here by the top of the shoulders. We want to end up with the chest a little higher than the shoulders. So you might have to adjust once you get down here. And just let your arms relax open out to the side, or you could bring your arms into a cactus position. Your legs could be straight, or you could have your knees bent, feet on the floor, and maybe have your knees resting in on each other. You want to be comfortable here. So if the blanket roll is too high and it's too uncomfortable, you can unroll it a little bit. But you want to have some feeling of height underneath your upper back. Let's start by observing our breath and noticing the quality of the breath. Is it kind of tense and tightened and shortened? Or is it long and open and free, relaxed? So we're aiming for the free and relaxed breath here. And just by opening up the chest, it kind of increases the capacity a little bit. It makes it just a little bit easier for the breath to come in, as opposed to if we were hunched and rounded. And if our muscles were tense, that would make it harder. So just start by breathing in and out through your nose. Unless your nose is blocked for some reason, then you just want to make sure you're breathing. But ideally, in and out through the nose. And I'm going to lead you through a pranayama practice called Voluntarily breath. And we're going to start by taking a long inhale and exhaling out in 3 parts. So on the exhale, we'll release part of the breath out without inhaling, then a little bit more, no inhale, and then a little bit more. So on your next exhale, squeeze all the air out. And take a nice long inhale. At the top of your inhale, hold the breath in, and then exhale out a little bit. Hold. Exhale a little bit more. Hold. Exhale a little bit more. And hold. Again, nice long inhale, slow and easy, filling up your chest, your belly, your side ribs, your back body. Then pause at the top of your inhale. Hold for a second. And exhale part way. Exhale a little bit more air out. hold. Exhale all the air out, hold. And then nice long inhale again. Slow and easy. At the top of your inhale, pause. Exhale out a little bit of air and pause. Exhale, release a little bit more and pause. Exhale, release all the air out and pause. Again, nice long inhale, filling up completely with the breath. Pause and hold that breath in. Exhale out a little bit and pause. Exhale out a little bit more and pause. Exhale all the air out and pause. And I'll let you do 2 more on your own. Counting to yourself, taking that nice full long inhale, pausing for a second, and then exhaling out in thirds. So you exhale a little bit of air out, hold it in, and exhale a little bit more out, hold it in, and exhale all the rest out. So I'm not going to talk for this last one. Just do it on your own so you can really pay attention to it. Nice full breath. And when you finish that round, just rest your hands on your belly. And just breathe normally. Notice how you're feeling. Maybe open the arms out a little bit because we really want the shoulders to be nice and open. Now just open your eyes, gently roll to your side. Come on up to seated. You may want to use this blanket to sit on. So either fold it up for sitting or move it off to the side for now. Come into a comfortable seat, a comfortable cross-legged seat. We'll do some work on our neck and shoulders. So let's start by just gently tapping your scalp with your fingernails or the tip of your fingers. It's just a light tapping, so it's just like flicking your wrist and covering all around the scalp. Down the middle, off to the sides, toward the front. And this is just going to stimulate our circulation up into the scalp area. Next time as you work your fingers down the back of your head, continue that tapping down the back of your neck and then out to the sides of your shoulders. Maybe go back and forth there a few times. This should feel really good. And then we'll go back up. Circle the head again. And relax your hands on your thighs. Notice how this feels. See if you can feel that little bit of stimulation on your scalp. And then we're going to do something very simple, kind of as a way of maybe draining our sinuses a little bit. Even if they don't feel stuffed up, you might notice some kind of gentle release here. So just take your index fingers and place them gently on the sides of your nose, just a little bit below your eyes. And you don't want to be pressing in hard, just like very, very, very soft pressure. And just focus on your breath, breathing in and out softly and smoothly, with as little effort as possible. And then maybe just do little circular rubs where your fingers are not sliding over the skin, but they're just enough pressure to gently make little circles. Nice. Release your hands again down on your legs. And just take a moment to notice how you feel now. Notice if there's any difference. So now we're going to work on our neck a little bit. So sit up nice and tall, find that internal lift, and then lift your left shoulder up toward the sky. So you don't drop down into the right shoulder, but you lift up. Make sure your chin is back. And reach your left arm out to the side. And start to rotate your shoulder. Externally rotate the shoulder back. And internally rotate the shoulder forward. All the time reaching out through your fingertips so you get a nice stretch all along this whole side of your body. And you could pause with your shoulder in an internal rotation or an external rotation. You could just lift and lower a little bit so you have a little vertical movement in your arm. Try and stay lifted up through your top ear. And try not to let your head drop forward. So keep your head not dropping back, but think of it lowering directly over your shoulder. Now just take your right hand and place it on the left side of your head and just push your head up gently into your hand, into some resistance. So we're not pressing down with our right hand, we're lifting up with the left side of our head. And then just release your hand, let your head float back up. And just take a moment to notice the difference between your two sides. And we'll move on to the other side. So lift your right ear up. Keep the chin nice and lifted, your head back, not dropping forward, but just really in line with your spine. And reach your right arm out to the side. Begin to move from the shoulder, internally rotating, externally rotating. Trying different heights, so your hand could be raised a little bit, or it could be lowered down. Again, try not to slump at all and relax into your left shoulder, but keep that lift, that big internal lift. And then really slow movements with the shoulder. And you can even stop in any position and just see what it feels like to hold it there. And take your left hand to the right side of your head, just as like a placement, placing your hand on your head, and then try and lift your head up into your hand, but resist with your hand. So we're not pushing down, we're lifting up into resistance. And release your hand, release your arm. Let your head float back to center. And again, notice if it feels like there's a little more space between your ears and your shoulders. And now we're just going to slowly turn our head over to the right. Look with your left eye over your right shoulder. So you're kind of stretching through the eyes. Then come back to center and turn your head to the left, looking over your left shoulder with your right eye. And just glide back and forth a couple more times, seeing how far you can turn your head without straining. Notice if there's any little sounds as you glide your head from side to side. And see if you can breathe into any tightness you might feel. And keep the motion nice and slow. We'll just turn one more time to each side. Nice, come back up to center. Reach your arms out to the side. Place your left palm facing up, your right palm placing down. And then we're going to rotate the shoulders in opposite directions. So we're internally rotating one shoulder, externally rotating the other. The hands will flip with the shoulder rotation. See if you want to feel this movement coming from your shoulders, not from your fingers. And just move nice and slowly and gracefully. Couple more of these, just like this, rotating them both at the same time. And now we're going to start with the right palm, the left palm, sorry, facing kind of down and back a little bit. Right palm facing up and back a little bit. And then start at your right palm and start to move from your wrist and let that ripple all the way across to the other shoulder. And then we'll start from the left side, ripple across. And just go back and forth, nice and slowly. See even if you can feel that rippling effect. So it might look just a tad like breakdancing in slow motion. I don't know if it looks like that to you, but breakdancers have like just a wonderful way of kind of moving their shoulders, moving their neck. And we'll just go one more round each side. Nice, and reach your arms up really, really tall. Letting your arms come right by your ears because you're reaching up so high, lengthening that spine. Interlace your fingers, rotate your palms upward. So that might give you a little more stretch. And bend your elbows, place your hands on the back of your head. And we're not pushing our head down, but we're letting our back round. And then gently push up into your hands. Feeling that resistance. So again, try not to push down with your hands, but instead it's like your head is trying to push your hands up, but your hands are resisting. At the same time, your back is rounding and melting. And as you inhale, feel the stretch, well, at least I feel the stretch kind of spread all over my back. So notice where you're feeling the stretch. And you can set your intention or your attention into any place that feels a little bit tight and imagine it relaxing. Good, release your hands. Let your head float back up to center. And then we'll just like circle our ribs around our hips. Just letting everything move. So let the shoulders move. This is more like a free-for-all, playing around. Not any particular way to do it that's better than another. Just to get things moving. Nice. Come back to center. And now take your resistance band or your strap, and we're going to hold it above our heads. See if you can get it behind your head. So it's not in front, but if you can get it behind. And then we're just gonna find a little bit of tension on either your strap, even if it's not elastic, just a little bit of tension there so it's not loose. And then lower your hands down by your knees. Inhale, lift up, and start to bring your arms behind you. And you're gonna find a tight spot, like where it feels kind of stuck, and you don't want to force your way past that. But this might be a place where you realize, oh, I have to make this distance between my hands with the strap a little bit longer. And then you want to feel some stretch, some tension as you bring your hands all the way down behind you to the floor or near the floor. And then bring your arms back up, trying to keep tension on the strap or the bands the whole time. If you have a mirror handy to look at, I mean, if you don't, it's no big deal. But it's just interesting to see if one shoulder is higher than the other or one hand is higher than the other. So you could check this out later in a mirror if you want. Now I'm going to make the strap a little bit shorter, and this has some give to it. So this is one reason why I'm liking the resistance bands. But something without give is just as good. And then reach back. So again, you don't want to do like too much resistance, so you don't want to be really torquing your shoulders here, but you do want to encourage an opening across the front of your shoulders. And we'll just go one more time back and forth. All right, so now we're going to do this really fun routine. It's in Qigong. It's called, well, I've heard it called Tibetan teacup. So start with your hands, palms up, and we're going to move one arm at a time. So start with your left hand and reach it across to the right. Then take your hand around out to the side, bend your wrist and your elbow, and circle your hand, palm facing up over your head. Start to reach your hand out to the side with the shoulder internally rotated, palm is facing up, and bring your hand behind you, circle at your wrist so the fingers come forward and you end up where you started. So we'll do that 2 more times on this left side. So reach across, find a nice stretch, and then swing your arm out to the side, bend the elbow and the wrist like you were serving something on a tray, and circle your hand above your head, reach your arm behind you, circle the wrists, coming back to where we started. Last time on this side, reach across, swing your arm out to the side, bend your elbow and your wrist, circle your palm over your head, palm facing up, reach your arm behind you with the palm facing up, and then circle your arm, come back to start. So that's a nice fun way of getting a lot of different movement in the shoulder. So we'll do the right side now. Reach your right arm across to the left. Stretch it out, feel that nice stretch in your back. And swing your arm out to the side and bend your wrist and your elbow. Circle your hand over your head, internally rotate the shoulder to keep the palm facing up, and swing your arm behind you, circle your wrists, and come forward again. 2 more. So reach off to the left, reach back to the right, bend the elbow and the wrist, circle your hand over your head, reach your arm out to the side, and then bring it in, circle the wrists, fingers coming forward. Last one, reach across your body and sweep your arm out to the side. Bringing your hand in a little bit, bend your elbow and your wrist, circle your hand over your head and reach it off to the side. Bend your elbow, bringing your hand in close to your ribs, and circle your fingers, rest your hands on your thighs. Feel that nice soft breath moving in and out. Now let's come onto our hands and knees in tabletop. Now this is where you might want to place a blanket underneath your knees and activate your hands by gripping the mat. We're going to begin to cat-cow. So as you inhale, lift your tailbone up, let your back of your shoulders move toward the floor, lift your chest forward and your head up. As you exhale, lower your tailbone down, lower your head down, lift your ribs up. Inhale, tailbone and head up, chest down. For cow pose. Exhale to cat, rounding your spine, relaxing your head and neck, and just go back and forth, flowing with the breath, nice and smoothly. Couple more times. Good, then walk your knees back. Separate your knees at least hip distance apart, maybe even a little wider. And sit back onto your heels if you can. If you can't, you could always place another blanket or a pillow in between your thighs and your calves, or you could keep your hips up a little bit. But if you can, sink your hips all the way back and let your forehead rest on the floor. Reach your arms forward. On your next inhale, round forward to cat. And on your exhale, lift your hips and glide back to child's pose. Inhale, round forward. Exhale, glide back. And continue to repeat this flowing motion with your breath guiding you, moving slowly and mindfully. And just a couple more rounds like this. This is one of my all-time favorite things to do. And the more we can get our spine moving, the more everything can relax. And come on back up to tabletop. Walk your hands in a little bit. Just swing your hips from side to side. You can snake your ribs from side to side. Again, just kind of playing with the movement. And then grip the mat with your hands again and let your head just relax. So let the weight of your head kind of stretch out the back of your neck. So push the floor away with your hands and let your head and neck relax. Good. One more time. Sit back in child's pose with your arms stretched forward. Or if you really feel called to have your hands back by your heels, you can choose that option. It's up to you. Really focus here on your breath, moving in and moving out. And walk your hands back to your knees. Bring your right hand behind you, behind your foot, and then press down through your hand, lift up through your hips. Reach your hips forward for a nice big long side stretch. And lower down. So left hand, reach it behind your foot, lift your hips up, press your hips forward. As you reach your arm up and back, we'll do one more time each side. So inhale, lift up and open. And on your exhale, lower, roll across to the other side. And lift up again. Good. Come on back into child's pose, and we're gonna end up, well, one of the last things we're gonna do is we're gonna take our blanket again. But this time, roll it up all the way. So make the biggest roll you can. Now, if you have a bolster and you want to use a bolster, or even if you have a foam roller and you want to use that, maybe with the blanket wrapped around it, that's always an option. So place your blanket parallel to the long edge of your mat, and we're going to lie down with our head on the blanket, but our hips on the floor. So just lower down, let everything relax. And this is meant to be super comfortable. First, just tap into your breath. Notice how the quality of your breath again. And we're going to do that Viloma breath, but from a different perspective. So instead of one long inhale and 3-part exhale, we're going to do 3-part inhale and 1 long exhale. So I'll talk you through it. On your next exhale, squeeze all the air out. Then inhale a little bit of air in and pause. Hold the air in. Inhale a little bit more air in. Pause and hold. Inhale the rest of the air in to fill up your lungs and fill up your chest, and pause. And then really long, slow exhale through your nose if possible. Drawing out the exhale, and pause at the end of your exhale. Inhale about 1/3 of the breath in and pause. Inhale a little bit more in, pause. Inhale all the way fully, and exhale slowly. So try and slow down the breath so that you're breathing all the way to the end of the exhale. And again, inhale part way, pause. Inhale a little bit more and pause. Inhale a little bit more, all the way, pause. Long, slow, easy, smooth exhale. Inhale, pause. Inhale again, pause. Inhale once more, pause. Exhale, long, slow breath out. And do that 2 more times on your own. Trying to make the three parts of the inhale more or less even, and the exhale long and slow and smooth. And when you've finished your second round, just relax, noticing how your breath feels, how your whole body feels. Now we're just going to gently roll off our blanket roll. And you are welcome to place this underneath the back of your knees. A lot of people like that. Or just move it off to the side. It's up to you. But actually, first let's float our legs up in the air and our arms up in the air. So shoulders are on the floor, not lifted. And you just want to let your feet float above your hips, your hands float above your shoulders. Take some nice, long, easy breaths in and out. And if you feel the urge to exhale through your mouth to kind of purge a little bit more, feel free to do that. But mainly we want to focus on keeping the inhale and the exhale through the nose. Just let your hands go limp, your feet go limp. And notice how good it feels to have your feet elevated and your hands elevated. Now, if your hamstrings are tight, you might have to bend your knees, but you don't want to feel like you're having to hold your legs up. You want to find that balance point wherever it is for you. And bend your knees, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a little hug. And we're going to stretch out for Savasana. So again, if you want, you can rest the back of your knees on your blanket or have your legs completely resting on the floor. And I'm going to invite you to do something we call palming. So you want to cup your hands. So there's a hollow space in the palm of your hand, and then seal around your eyes with the edges of your hands so that nothing is touching your eyelids, but you're just sealing the air out and inviting darkness in. Continuing to relax without any strain on the eyes. And the idea here is to try and let the optic nerve relax so that you're not seeing any different hues of color or patches of lightness. And you're just trying to relax enough that the only thing you see is or feel is the darkness, the blackness. That is a safe and nurturing, restful place to be. So I'm going to invite you to stay palming for, I don't know, maybe count to 10 to 15 breaths. And after that, you could keep your hands covering your eyes and continue with the palming for the rest of Savasana, or you could release your hands to the sides and finish your Savasana with your arms on the ground. It's up to you. We're just going to stay here a little teeny bit longer. And you're welcome to stay here longer if you want. Otherwise, whenever you're ready, gently roll to your side. And you can bend your knees. Just let your body relax. And notice how you're feeling, your overall sense of well-being, overall sense of inner contentment. Now the way we come up is really important. You want to stay nice and relaxed. So keeping your eyes closed, use your hands, kind of roll toward your hands, put weight into your hands to press yourself up to a comfortable seat. And rest your hands on your thighs. And every inhale, feel your chest lifting, your spine growing a little bit taller. And every exhale, shoulders relaxing down your back. And if you had a headache when you began this, notice how it feels now, or if it's, could be completely gone. And just kind of like, even if you do this practice once in a while or whenever you're feeling a little stressed out, or even like you want to relax a little bit more, this could be in your repertoire, and you could do this if you do end up having a headache at some point and just see how it goes. I would love it if you'd leave me a comment. Let me know if this helped, especially if you had a headache. Please sign up, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification button because I'm going to be putting out a lot of new videos. And please tell a friend. And what else? Did I already say leave a comment? Leave a comment. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste. Bye for now.